How can we encourage the next generation to have more confidence in their value to tech?
I think a lot of it comes down to making tech relatable to them. So that's, first of all, engaging them and getting them excited about the outcomes of tech and what their contribution to tech could then lead to. So really kind of helping them to see the purpose behind it and the purpose behind any individual role. And then I think, relating that back to skills they already have. So a lot of tech skills, of course, end up being incredibly technical, but start with an aptitude for something that they'll understand and they'll have experienced through their education or their other outside interests.
You are offering strong internships and training programs to help young talent start their careers. How important do you think encouraging young talent to join the industry is, and what are the benefits both to young people and your business?
That encouraging more young people to come into the workforce and into their tech careers is absolutely critical for filling the skills gap. We know that the skills gap is getting bigger and bigger as years progress and the workforce is shrinking. So I think it's really important to play an active role in expanding that workforce. The benefit to us of bringing people in and training them ourselves is that we get to know their working styles, we get to know what works for them and what doesn't. And it means that we can just be much more bespoke in our approach to managing them and developing them with us if we've had them from the very beginning. So, I think that's a great advantage. And also it utilises the skills of our more experienced staff as well and gives them a chance to kind of share their knowledge and, make sure that carries through, as well as perhaps bringing a fresh perspective to them. If they've always been doing it the same way, they'll get a fresh pair of eyes and a chance to re-examine why they're doing things. I think it's very much the responsibilities of companies to help to create and nurture the talent pool. We can't rely, totally on education to give people the kind of 5 to 10 years of experience that we often say we need. So, if we don't take an active role in that and hire people straight out of education, then the skills gap won't get any better.
Okay, so what advice would you give to businesses looking to engage young talent from an early age?
In engaging them, the first and most important thing is to get them really excited about you as a company and get them excited about what you do. Then it's really important to get them engaged by your values. And, we see increasingly that young people are really concerned about wanting to work for a company with a strong ethical viewpoint and strong ethical value. Top tips would be, first of all, be proactive. So whether that's reaching out individually or at a community level, we've seen, through your report that confidence is low. So I think, going to them and making that first step can be really helpful. Secondly, I think removing any blockers to entry. So that could be arbitrary requirements. It could be, if you can be more flexible around your location or working, and make sure you target people that have the potential and aptitude to be trained as well. So kind of look at yourselves, be very honest about what you can offer in terms of your training and what you actually need as a real minimum requirement, and then target people who can show that.
How important is it right now to make hires that help increase your tech team's diversity, whether that is gender, ethnicity, socio-economic background, or neurodiversity? And what advice would you give to other companies that want to increase diversity and inclusion in their tech teams?
Companies just will not thrive unless they're, truly diverse and creating a truly diverse and inclusive environment. In terms of how companies can go about increasing their diversity and inclusion in their tech teams, I think, first of all, it's really important to recognise that diversity and inclusion are ongoing, daily commitments requiring constant active action. It's not a kind of case of a singular exercise you can go through and say, we've completed our diversity and inclusion exercise, now we're good to go. It's not like that. You have to kind of be proactive every day and ask yourself uncomfortable questions, challenge yourselves, examine your processes, your decision making, and at every step kind of embed that diversity and inclusion in what you do.
How do you communicate your company's values and benefits during the recruitment process?
So I think it's important to try to communicate it as effectively as possible at every stage of your candidate journey. And the candidate journey begins, either at your very first outreach, if it's proactive, or if they've come to you, it's when they see your website. I think your careers website really needs to represent who you are. So it's important to put a lot of thought and time into that and really give a candidate a sense of what it would be like to work with you. Certainly education and universities have a part to play in preparing people for the future, but they perhaps will always, inevitably in some cases be a step behind, because, it's the companies who will have real foresight as to what they're going to need, in 5 to 10 years. And if they step up and really prioritize training and developing people for the future and make that a key goal, not only for their own aims and ambitions, but for the individuals as well, to make them kind of as well-rounded and as most developed and stretched and challenged as they can be, then I think there's every chance we could prevent a future skills gap by just really making sure that we prioritise learning and development.
CWJobs, the home for tech jobs.